The motorcade moved slowly through the bright streets of Dallas on November 22nd, 1963. It was a clear day, the kind that made people feel safe, hopeful, and proud. Crowds gathered along the sidewalks, waving small American flags, smiling, cheering, and craning their necks to catch a glimpse of the young and charismatic president. John F. Kennedy sat in the open-top limousine beside his wife, Jacqueline, who wore a pink suit that would soon become one of the most haunting symbols in American history. There was laughter in the air. The city seemed calm, welcoming. No one in the crowd could have imagined that within seconds, everything would change. As the limousine turned onto Elm Street, passing by the Texas School Book Depository, the noise of celebration suddenly shattered. A sharp crack echoed across the plaza, then another, then a third. At first, many thought it was fireworks, but the president's body jerked unnaturally. Jacqueline turned toward him, her expression shifting, from confusion to horror in a heartbeat. Secret Service agents reacted too late. Chaos erupted. People screamed, ducked, ran, or froze in place as reality sank in. The president had been shot. The limousine sped away, racing toward Parkland Memorial Hospital. Blood stained the seats. Jacqueline climbed onto the back of the car, reaching instinctively for something, anything, as if she could pull back what had just been lost. Her husband lay motionless beside her. Inside the hospital, doctors rushed to save him. Nurses moved with urgency, voices tight with fear. But the damage was too severe. At 1 p.m., John F. Kennedy was pronounced dead. News spread like wildfire. Radios crackled. Television broadcasts halted their regular programming. Across the United States and around the world, people stopped what they were doing. Some refused to believe it. Others wept openly. A nation was thrown into shock. But even as the country mourned, a question rose immediately, sharp and unavoidable. Who had done this? Not far from the chaos in Dealey Plaza, a man moved quickly away from the scene. His name was Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald was not a stranger to troubled paths. He had once defected to the Soviet Union, only to return to the United States years later. He had struggled to find stability, drifting from job to job, carrying with him a sense of alienation and frustration. To those who knew him, he was quiet, sometimes intense, and often unpredictable. Earlier that day, he had been working inside the Texas School Book Depository. Witnesses would later recall seeing him in the building. Some remembered nothing unusual. Others would come forward with stories that seemed small at first, but would grow heavier with each passing hour. After the shooting, Oswald left the building. He did not appear panicked, at least not outwardly. He boarded a bus, then a taxi. His movements were erratic, as if he were trying to blend in while also fleeing something he could not outrun. And then, less than an hour after the president was shot, another tragedy unfolded. A Dallas police officer named J.D. Tippit encountered Oswald on a quiet street. What exactly happened in those brief moments remains partly unclear, but witnesses reported that Oswald drew a gun and shot the officer multiple times. Tippit collapsed, dying where he fell. Now Oswald was not just a suspect in an assassination. He was a cop killer. Police intensified their search. Within a short time, Oswald was spotted inside a movie theater. Officers entered cautiously. The air inside was tense, heavy with anticipation. When they approached him, he resisted, reportedly shouting, "I'm not resisting arrest." Even as he struggled against them, He was taken into custody. At the police station, Oswald appeared calm, almost detached. Cameras flashed as reporters shouted questions at him. "Did you kill the president?" "I didn't shoot anybody," he replied. He claimed he was a patsy, a scapegoat. His words added fuel to the growing uncertainty. Was he telling the truth? Was he part of something larger? Or was he simply denying the inevitable? Investigators began piecing together the evidence. A rifle was found in the Texas School Book Depository. It was linked to Oswald. Witnesses placed him near the sixth-floor window from which the shots were believed to have been fired. The case seemed straightforward, at least on the surface. But something about it felt incomplete. The idea that a single man, acting alone, could alter the course of history in such a dramatic way was difficult for many to accept. Questions multiplied. Could there have been another shooter? Were there others involved? Before those questions could be answered, another shocking event took place. 2 days after the assassination, Oswald was scheduled to be transferred from police headquarters to the county jail. The process was being broadcast live on television. Millions of Americans watched. As Oswald was led through the basement, handcuffed and surrounded by officers, a man suddenly stepped forward from the crowd. In an instant, he pulled out a gun and fired. The shot struck Oswald in the abdomen. The scene unfolded in real time, captured by cameras and witnessed by an entire nation. People gasped, cried out, or sat frozen in disbelief as history repeated itself in the most surreal way. The man who fired the shot was Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner with connections to the Dallas police. Oswald collapsed, his face contorted in pain. Officers rushed him back into the building, but the damage was severe. He was taken to the same hospital where President Kennedy had died just 2 days earlier. Hours later, Oswald was pronounced dead. With Oswald gone, the chance for a full trial and perhaps a clear answer vanished. Jack Ruby claimed he acted out of grief and anger. He said he wanted to spare Jacqueline Kennedy the pain of seeing her husband's killer stand trial. But many found his explanation difficult to accept. How had he managed to get so close? Why was he there at that exact moment? Was it truly an act of impulse or something more calculated? The questions deepened. In the months that followed, the United States government launched an official investigation known as the Warren Commission. Its task was to determine what had happened and to provide answers to a shaken nation. After extensive inquiry, the commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald had acted alone in assassinating President Kennedy and that Jack Ruby had acted alone in killing Oswald. Case closed, or so it seemed. For many, the official explanation did not bring closure. Doubts lingered. Some pointed to inconsistencies in witness testimonies. Others questioned the trajectory of the bullets. There were theories about multiple shooters, secret organizations, foreign governments, and hidden motives. Over the years, countless books, films, and investigations have revisited the case. Each has attempted to uncover the truth, to peel back the layers of mystery that still surround that day in Dallas. But the deeper people look, the more complicated the story becomes. What remains undeniable is the impact. The assassination of John F. Kennedy changed the United States forever. It marked the end of an era of optimism and the beginning of a more uncertain, questioning time. Trust in institutions weakened. The idea that something so devastating could happen so suddenly and so publicly left a permanent scar. For those who witnessed it, Whether in person or through a television screen, the memory remains vivid. A sunny day, a smiling president, a moment of joy turned into tragedy. And at the center of it all, a man who insisted he was innocent, silenced before he could fully tell his story. Was Lee Harvey Oswald truly the lone gunman? Or was he, as he claimed, just a patsy in a larger, hidden plot? Decades have passed, yet the answers remain elusive. The echoes of that day still linger, carried through history as one of the most haunting and unresolved chapters in American life. The shots in Dallas did more than end a presidency. They ignited a mystery that may never be fully solved.